I've always believed that what a woman wears affects how she feels. In fact, I know it to be true. I know it to be true for me. And it's not frivolous, it's not vanity, and it doesn't change just because we're putting on clothes to get into the saddle. Most women will know that feeling. You put something on, it fits beautifully, it feels nice against your skin. You just feel better. You don't need to be reminded to stand taller. You just do it. Just feel more comfortable being seen. You feel more at ease in your own skin. You just feel more like you. But the opposite is also true. When you put on something and it technically fits, but it just doesn't feel right. Maybe it pulls in the wrong places. Maybe it's a bit clingier than you want it to be. Maybe the waistband rolls. Maybe the fabric feels a bit flimsy. You look in the mirror and you just don't recognise the woman looking back at you. None of these things on their own is really much of a big deal, but added up, they are. And confidence is rarely lost all at once. Sometimes it's just quietly dismantled. One small discomfort, one small adjustment, one self-conscious thought at a time. And when we ride, those small things matter more than we think. When we're with our horses, we're communicating all the time through our seat, through our hands, through the way we breathe and the way we hold ourselves, through our decisions, and sometimes through the decisions that we hesitate to make. Our horses feel way more than the aids that we deliberately give to them. They feel when we brace, they feel when we become uncertain, they feel when our attention drifts. And I'm not suggesting that an uncomfortable waistband can contribute to a tense ride. And I'm certainly not suggesting that the right pair of pants can turn a rider into a fearless rider. That would be ridiculous. Confidence is far more complex than that. It comes from experience, it comes from intuition, it comes from knowing your horse, it comes from learning how to respond to things when things don't go to plan. And sometimes it comes from getting through a difficult situation and realising that you actually handled it really well. And what we wear can either support it or interfere with it. If your jeans pinch every time you sit deeply in the saddle, part of your attention is on your jeans. If your waistband keeps rolling down, part of your attention is on your waistband. If you feel exposed, restricted, uncomfortable, your attention is going there as well. You adjust your clothes, you shift in the saddle, you start wondering what you look like. You become conscious of all the parts of your body that weren't looking for attention before that. You become conscious of all the parts of yourselves that until that moment you weren't really thinking about. And that attention has to come from somewhere, and usually it comes from the attention that we in fact should be giving to our horse. When a woman feels comfortable in the saddle, when she feels she looks good, she starts to carry herself a little differently. It might only be subtle, but she'll sit a little taller, she'll breathe a little deeper, she'll make decisions with more certainty. She just becomes a little more present. She doesn't become a different woman, but she becomes more fully herself, and the horses feel that. They feel the calm through our bodies. They feel the clarity of our decisions. They feel the clarity in our aids. They feel when we're committed to a decision, and they feel the uncertainty when we're kind of hoping they'll agree and go along with us. I know that that sense of assurity flows right through us. It flows through our seat and through our hands, and it flows right through to the horse. What the horse receives is a calmer, clearer rider. And when the horse responds to that rider, the woman feels it. Perhaps the horse relaxes. Perhaps the transitions become a little bit easier. Perhaps something that usually causes tension just passes without an incident. And that response, or lack of, is felt by the rider. She just relaxes a little bit more. She feels a little bit more confident. The horse feels that. And this positive loop creates and continues. And of course, the riding pants didn't create any extra ability. But what they did do was they enabled her to ride without any distractions or feelings of self-consciousness. And that can contribute to a calmer ride and, yes, I believe, a safer ride. There's also something else I want us to be honest about, and that is that knowing you look good matters. Particularly as we age, there's this idea out there that it should matter less, that we should have outgrown it. But wanting to look good is not vain. Wanting to recognise yourself in your riding gear does not make you any less serious about your riding. When I design riding pants, I'm not thinking about how they look hanging on the rack. I'm thinking about the woman that wears them. I'm thinking about how she feels when she bends over to pick up a hoof to clean it out. I think about how she feels when she's climbing into the saddle, when she's sitting the trot. But I also think about how she's going to look and feel at the end of the ride when she's heading into town to have a coffee afterwards or to the grocery store on her way home. I'm thinking about the waistband that needs to support her tummy without digging in. I'm thinking about the fabric that needs to move but not become too thin or too revealing as it stretches. I'm thinking about whether it has enough coverage so that she's not worrying about what people can see or revealing while she's riding. I'm thinking about pockets that are deep enough to be genuinely useful. I'm thinking about seams that don't rub when she's in the saddle. I'm thinking about the boot cut providing a silhouette that she's comfortable with, familiar with, and that's flattering. These are all practical design decisions, but their effect is really personal because comfort affects how we move and security affects how we sit. And feeling good in our clothes affects how we carry ourselves. And that's why we stitch a few quiet little words inside the waistband. Most people don't even know they're there. They're not there for advertising. They're not for the person standing outside looking at the woman. They're for her. Now, I don't believe a few little words can manufacture confidence, but they're there just for a little reminder. It's a reminder of something she already knows. It's a reminder of who she is, of what she's overcome, and the fact that she still belongs here. We all need that. Not a motivational speech, not someone standing on the sidelines saying you can do this. Sometimes it's just a few quiet little words at the right moment. I would never give riding pants the credit for a woman's confidence. That confidence belongs to her. She developed it. She created it over a lifetime. She created it from experience, from the difficult horses, from the generous horses, from the falls, and from the lessons that humbled her. A pair of pants cannot create that, but it can help her access that. It can support her. It can give her one less thing to think about. It can help her feel secure and comfortable and more like herself. Or it can quietly chip away at all of those things before she even puts her foot in the stirrup. And that's why I think clothing is so important to us as we ride. The clothes don't do the riding, but they affect the woman who does, and she affects the horse she's on. So to me, yes, the clothes that we wear very much affect the outcome of the ride. You tell me, have you ever put something on that you've immediately felt more comfortable in? Have you ever put something on that throughout the day has just dismantled your confidence? Because I think there are other women out there who have felt that, and I think it's time we stop pretending it doesn't matter. Let me know.